awesome. Okay. Oops, wrong button. There we go. Hello, folks. According to Streamlabs, I am live, and this is my 300th video. And this will be an all-AMA celebration of, well, you know, you guys, really. This is more about me celebrating with my friends and subscribers than anything else. Just bear with me for a few moments while I get this all nice and chilled out. And beautiful. Copy the link address. Open that. Close that. Okay, sent to Parlor. Posted to Minds. Posted to MeWe. Posted to Getter. Nope, didn't work. Post. And finally posted to Gab. Yes, post to Gab. That's what I want you to do. Perfect. Okay. And checking Gab. I need to refresh. I don't know why I have to refresh Gab. Okay, that's up. And Getter is not up. I have to refresh Getter as well to see it. That's interesting. Okay, live on Getter. Or posted to Getter, posted to MeWe, posted to Minds. Don't know that it posted to Parlor. Let me just check that real fast again. And if by chance this is not posted properly, that's weird. Profile. And it posted to Parlor okay. Excellent. And then I have a bunch of Discords to post it to, so I will put my face on camera for that by doing this. Hi everybody, nice to see you. Give me just a few seconds to get the chat open and get all the shilling to Getter done, or sorry, Discord done, and I will be with you. If you have any questions to ask me, put them in the chat now, and if you come up with anything else you want to ask on any subject, pop it into the chat. I'll get my slurp out of the way. There we go. Now I feel like I'm one of the boys, Crowder and Dev and everybody that sucks on coffee while they do their streams. We will put that in general there. There. And there. I'm actually on a lot of Discords, and it's somewhat clumsy to do this right at the beginning of a stream, but I'd rather do it now and have every possible person who might want to pop in to have a chat chatting. So I do apologize for the slightly low energy open here. I'm going to go just a slight bit longer than usual today. I was considering doing 300 minutes, but then I did the math and realized that's 5 hours, and I did that yesterday with the Sultans. There's no way I'm doing 5 hours by myself. That one... maybe? That seems the most appropriate place to put it. Actually, no, that's the most appropriate place to put it. Okay, right off the bat, too, I do need to say thank you to Patriot Brunchcast for having me on Tuesday. Just looking at my calendar. And yes, I use a physical calendar. I know I'm a weirdo that way. But I do want to thank Patriot Brunchcast for having me on Tuesday. And I also want to thank... there we are. Caucasian Sasquatch for having me on as well on Thursday. And of course, as always, thanks to Bezic and the rest of the Sultans for having me there as well. I will, or sorry, to be clear, if you look in the video description for this, you will see links to all the various Sultans Alumni, I guess, or the various Sultans. I would encourage you guys to click, like, subscribe to all those guys. They're good people. They must be. They're welcoming of me. And I can be a bit of a knob at times. But then so can we all. Getting there, I swear. Let's see, only 2 more to go? 4 more to go. Okay. And if anyone is in chat right now waiting and wondering why the hell I haven't responded yet, just to let you guys know, I am still shilling this thing out, and I am about to shill it to the last Discord, which is actually mine, which I haven't invited anyone to yet, because, well, I boomer on Discord as it is still, and I believe I'm done. Okay. Yeah, so today is the 300th video that I have done. I almost did a video this morning talking about how my next video would be my 300th, and then I realized that no, if I do that, talking about how my next video is going to be my 300th, that will be my 300th, and this will be my 301st. Didn't want to do that. So, with all of that stuff out of the way, let me go and find the chat for YouTube, which should be here, and there, and there, and let's see if we can keep that from making noise. We can. Go to live chat, pop out the chat. Good girl. We can now close. No, we will minimize that window rather than closing it. I see there are people in chat already, and I will greet you all with a warm and hearty, excuse me, hail all. So, oops, I went and did that wrong. Now I need my chat back up. Come here, chat, where are you? There, get you on the right side of the screen. Okie dokie. Okay, so we are going to in fact do a full-on AMA today. I see Brain Chatterer is in the chat. Hello, nice to meet you, or nice to see you, rather. Prime Knight, my favorite mod, also my only mod. Student of History has, oh, Prime Knight says I'm very quiet. So I will shift my microphone a little bit. I do apologize that there's some noise at the moment. Oop, that was quite loud, and I do apologize for that, because that was inside the mic. I need to loosen and move a few things, and get the mic more or less in front of my face. And that should be sufficient, but I don't want the spar in the shot. Okay, so I take it the sound is a little better now. So I've spoken up, so that'll help. And Student of History says, Guten Morgen, mein frozen Freund. Bitte is please in German. Thank you in German is... I've forgotten. I shouldn't have. It's Danke. And Dr. Phil has popped in. Hi, nice to see you. So if anyone has any questions on any subject, feel free to ask them now. And I will give you guys a few seconds to get some things in. And then I will pop up some stuff that I want to promote, which, like an idiot, I went and closed that particular window. Dear, oh dear. Someday. Oh, and that's not going to work because I think I've already deleted that or cleared the clipboard. Let's find out. I have, in fact, cleared the clipboard. Okay. So that will require me to go to my YouTube channel. And, yep, bring that up. I will full screen that real fast so that I can start grabbing some links from there. Copy link, and I do apologize, this is going to take a few seconds. Actually, I can just open all those links here and then move them over. Actually, that's probably a bad idea. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to close those extra links. Let's see if I can't shrink this a little. There we are. I'll move that over there. And of course, now I'm stuck with the only the chat on screen, which I don't really mind. Let me see. I see Billy Blogs has given me a salute. Hi, Billy. Bleach Demon has popped in to ask what the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow is. Well, it depends. Are we talking about an African or European? Also, what's your favorite color? Patriot Brunchcast himself has popped in. Thank you. Student of History is asking how is the weather in Las Elas, Newfoundland. Currently, it's kind of sunny out. We're supposed to have some unseasonably warm temperatures this week, so that's good news. Which means I'm hopeful to be able to do another hiking live stream, and I'm also hopeful to be able to do some work in the shed. The table I was talking about doing, that I was under the impression was solid wood, turned out to be a very, very fancily done trick. There was veneer on both sides of the tabletop surface, which I didn't expect. It's not something that's commonly done anymore. 40 to 60 kilometers an hour. Thanks, Billy. Excuse me. Patriot says he's been loving the cooler weather where he is. Trying to recall where Patriot is. I know Student is in the Connecticut area. Patriot is in New Hampshire, is that right? No, that's not right. I'm sure someone will point it out in just a moment. In the meantime, I'm trying to get some tabs open here, or some links where I can see them. There we are. Okay, so I need to move the chat over there so that I can grab this. Come on, get over there. There we go. Okay. No, I don't think that'll work. We'll leave you there. We will put the second screen back up. Okay, so there's the thumbnail. There's the thumbnail, which I expect will mollify Disco somewhat. And just to make sure, please, Disco, stop bullying me. I'm trying my best. Just because I want to promote some people I really appreciate. Excuse me, and I do apologize if that blew your ears off. Let's see. Patriot says he's in Florida. Cloudy and overcast, the best you deserve. In Connecticut, says Student of History. Patriot is Florida man confirmed. Yes, Bleach, he is in fact. If I recall correctly, Bleach is Carolina man, which is a superhero we don't hear much about. Patriot says they double veneered you. If they do that to you a lot, does that mean you have venereal disease? The double veneer thing, I think, was something that was fashionable, probably with slightly higher end furniture, like not into the highest ends, but probably top quality Sears level furniture in the 70s and 80s. I'm guessing the thing that I don't understand is why they used veneer to make the underside of the table surface look like actual wood. I assume they expected people to flip things over. Who knows? In any case, I am going to minimize my chat for just a moment, move my personal window over, and suggest to you guys that you should take a look at Based Ape, who has about 100 or 10 times as many subscribers as I do. I'm not jealous. I'm also not jealous of this young man here, who had 27,000 subscribers before he ever put a single video on his YouTube channel. I would like to be that lucky. No, I really wouldn't. That's a joke. I would not want to go through what he had to go through to get to that point. Also for Based Ape, you guys can check out Based Ape's other channel, which is Based Ape Streams. He only has 27 subs at this point, which is surprising because he and Disco do weekly White Pills together. The weekly White Pills stream is generally the answer to the extreme black pilling that the Sultans will give you on Saturday. But if I recall correctly, they're looking at rescheduling things. Let's see. We'll go with this guy next. This is the head Sultan and chief bottle washer. This is Bezik's personal channel. He has slightly fewer subscribers than me, actually. I have 4 more than him at this point. That's not right. He's a good guy and deserves far more subs. So if you're willing, please go and give him a sub if you haven't already. Moving along, down the line of the Sultans Alumni, we have the incomparable Bleach Demon. Himself having only 18 subscribers, about a tenth of what I have, which again is criminal. These Senate primers, these are extremely good videos, delivered in a very American and very enjoyable fashion. It does say here that I haven't watched the third one. That's not correct. I have, in fact. I don't know why YouTube is not showing that I've watched it, but in any event, and we move on to the single female, or femoid, of the Sultans. As far as I know, I don't know how everybody identifies. It's quite possible someone else does identify as a woman. This is Disco, or Discordia, as I like to refer to her. Again, with about 10 times as many subscribers as I have. Not that I'm jealous. And then, of course, and as I said, she does the weekly White Pills with the Based Ape, with the monkey. They are... she also streams with Bezik, doing game streams. She seems to do a lot of game streaming, which, okay. But anyway, that's Disco. And then finally we have this wonderful individual, Trim, of Trim's Art Shack. Again, criminally undersubscribed. He should have far more subs than this. The thing I really like about Trim is that he's got not an unusual art style so much as a unique art style. And he's got some great time-lapse videos. This one isn't running terribly fast. I believe this one might run a bit faster. Yeah, here's the Null that he did a while ago, which is a creature type from Dungeons & Dragons. And again, I will give Trim a little bit of hell for not giving it a Flint bar, which is essentially a fantasy version of a nunchuck. And I'm going to lean away from the mic for a moment to clear my throat some more. I do apologize. I think I probably have a little bit of sawdust in my throat from discovering the issue with that table. Speaking of things I'm going to be doing in the shed... Oh, that's wrong. Didn't want that. Speaking of things I'm going to be doing in the shed, I do have a chair resto that I'm trying to finish. I didn't need to open a new tab there either. Which I'm hoping to get a few warm days this week, and I should be able to get that finished. It's about 100 years old, this chair, give or take. It's at least 3 generations in my family old. And currently belongs to my mother, and she requested that I clean it up, take the paint off of it, and give it a new varnish. And being that I'm a woodworker, and one of the things I love to do is restore older furniture, I'm having a great deal of fun with that, but I'm also being extremely careful. Partly because of the age of the piece, partly because of the sentimental value, the heritage value of it as part of my family. So, moving along from that, the Few creators that I wish to promote today are guys like Black Pigeon Speaks, who is also known as Felix Rex, which apparently is his new main YouTube channel. I've been subbed to Black Pigeon Speaks for a while, off and on, even before I had, and the off and on is mostly YouTube's fault, but even before I had this current channel, back when I was using my other channel, Black Pigeon and I believe Felix Rex both were subs of mine, or people I subbed to, I should say. So he's currently got a GoFundMe going for a documentary, and I will bring that up. And that is Winter of Discontent. And I'm not going to play the whole thing, obviously, and I will play it on mute. But he's about a third of the way to his goal. And as I understand it, the purpose of this documentary, let me just see, yeah, it's to talk about some of the political issues that we're having. It clearly has to do with something to do with the global crisis from the looks of things. But I haven't actually watched this video myself, but I listened to his premiere the other day, and if I recall correctly, what he's talking about is more the coming economic crisis than anything else, and this video appears to be bearing that out for me. So, what have we got here? Global crisis, inflation. So, we will pause here, and I'll leave this on screen for a few seconds while I hunt down another creator I want to highlight. This is, and all these links are in the description, by the way, so you can find them there. This is Dave Martell, who does, if I recall correctly, some fairly white positive stuff, but he's also, like me, a big fan of pop culture. And he's involved with the Bizarre Cast and with the Bizarre Archives, and I'll let that come up, which is the next link I have. Oops. Didn't want you to do that. Accidentally misclicked something. Don't mind me. As long as I'm still on screen, we're all, or as long as the screen is not black, we're all good. And this is the Bizarre Archives page, or website, and they do have a shop. They have some great stuff here. Billy, I believe, had sent me a link to Amazon, and let me just see if I can remember. Yes. This is another author who's involved with the Bizarre Archives. This is Marcus Jones. And, yeah, there we are. He's considered the Bizarre Archives Elder of Fantasy, which makes me interested in wanting to read this. Unfortunately, at that price, there's no way I'd bother at this point, though I may consider purchasing directly from the Bizarre Archives themselves. And finally, my favorite, did it again, close. Okay, my favorite white well-being activist, who is a good friend of mine and has been for several years, is the Eunuch, who has far more subscribers than I do, at about 30 times. Not that I'm jealous, but she is very much in that white well-being, no white guilt sphere. Let me see. Okay, I do have it loose, so I will bring that back over. I would recommend, if you're interested in a slightly different take on the issues facing Western society, that you would give her a look. She does some Bible verses, she does camping trips, which, if I recall correctly, she's actually in the middle of her camping trip right now, and maybe possibly back from at this point. I'd also recommend having a look at Conscious Caracal. He's a South African who does a stream, I believe, once or twice a week. And yeah, there's a lot of good creators. Of course, most of you know Aiden, who appears on Discordant Dragons fairly regularly, as at this point, so do I. I see the chat is bouncing around, so I'm going to put my face back for you guys. Oops. Ah, there we are. Okay, and let's see. Wow, I've got a lot of engagement this morning. Thanks. Let's see. I see Bleach says he's off to do non-atheist things. Okay, Bleach, you have yourself a good Sunday. If you're going to worship someone, do it well. Let's see. Yes, student of history, I was in fact bamboozled. Tricked by a piece of wood. It happens. Patriots in Florida. Student is in Connecticut. So we have Connecticut man, Florida man. Billy, that was in fact a Monty Python reference. Patriot says he's not Florida man yet, but he's doing his best. I guess he needs more meth. Possibly an attack squirrel. Sasquatch has popped in. Hi, Sasquatch. Nice to see you. Let's see. Student of history says, Patriot, if you feel like you're not earning the title, just do as the Romans do, smoke a tiny amount of meth. Yeah. Enough to assault someone with a gator, but not enough to be on live TV eating. Fair. Billy Blogs says, Fime. Did I hear that right? I'm not 100% sure what you're referencing there. Student of history says, follows up by pointing out that you should smoke enough meth to assault an alligator, but not enough to be on TV eating someone's face. Makes sense. Bleach says, wait, I have subscribers? Yes, Bleach, you should know that better than I do. Let's see. Brain Shatterer says, if you watch and then re-click, it restarts the bar. So if you click off immediately, then no bar. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, I see. Okay. Talking about the video I thought I had watched. Billy says hi to Sasquatch. Sasquatch says hi to Billy. Brunchcast says hi to Sasquatch. Billy says links in description. I try to always put my links in my description now. I'm getting better at this. I swear. Let's see. Links in description. Null is basically a were hyena. No, because it doesn't actually change. It doesn't actually change form. What it does is, or what it is rather, is more humanoid hyena. It's generally the best way to think of it. Or a bipedal hyena. Sasquatch says he's collecting the quotes of Lazarus Long. That is a good choice. Lazarus Long had some very good quotes. I would also suggest... starts with a J. Another of Heinlein's characters. Julep? It's going to drive me nuts if I don't look. Okay, this is just going to be faster if I scroll it. Wasn't it Jubal Harshaw? Yes, Jubal Harshaw. And just to make sure you know what I'm saying, I will put his name in there. There you go. Okay, and I can go there, close that. Okay. Patriot Brunchcast says 3 generations of butts were in there. Possibly 4, possibly 5, because it was purchased during the time that my grandfather was alive. Or, sorry, during the time that my great-grandfather may have been alive. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, where are we going here? Okay, my chat is bouncing around a little more than I expected it to, so I'm going to roll back. Monty Python reference. Okay. Another man's face. Links in description. Basically, where are you? Okay. Yes, at least 3 generations of butts have sat on that chair. Once I get the chair put back together, it may have been a 6th, as many as 6. Patriot says he's also liked Black Pigeon for a while. I think he's Canadian like me. I think he's Canadian born, but I think he lives in the UK now, or possibly Japan. I know he was in Japan for a while. Prime Knight, who I actually forgot to reference as a Sultans alumni, like an asshat, you go ahead and put the link to your channel in chat as well. Sasquatch recognizes Yiz. BPS since BP, yep. Bleach, wish me a fantastic stream, which I appreciate. Thank you very much, Bleach. Prime Knight says, be jealous and seethe. Yeah. No, I'm okay. To be fair, I've only been doing this since January, and I'm already up to 300 videos, so I think I work at least as hard as some other creators. Sasquatch's plan is to blow up and then act like he doesn't know anybody. It's a good plan. Billy says, I got outsmarted by a piece of wood. I got outsmarted by the guys who put the wood together. I'll give them those props. Patriot Brunchcast realized he had the top chat on instead of the live chat. Sasquatch is correct. Yiz has in fact been unpersoned more than Alex Jones. That's very true. Violence's Life pops in. Hail, sister. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Patriot says a Flint is like a hyena furry, but less sexually aggressive. Well, I don't know. It depends on how your DM plays them. But a Flint is a slightly angrier version of a Null, if I recall correctly. Or it may be a terrain difference. Excuse me. Promethean Heals has popped in. Hi, Promethean. Nice to see you. Let's see. Okay, Billy asks how I got outsmarted by a piece of wood. I will answer that a little more clearly. And Prime Knight has kindly posted his channel. Thank you very much. Okay, Billy. So... just watching the chat, it makes me happy to see all you guys greeting each other. So what happened was the tabletop was actually made of what's called MDF, medium density fiberboard. And normally, if you're making something that you want to actually have look like wood out of that, you would put an actual wood veneer over it. And on top, it's still very common to do that. Sometimes you'll use solid wood for the edging, if you're doing a rounded, or square even, tabletop. And it's not uncommon to take a layer of actual wood veneer and mate it to the surface, and then do your work around to make it look like real wood. Or potentially like you've done some sort of parquet work. And then, of course, you do your edging as well. And you can do that with solid wood, or you can use, they have plastic tape veneers, not great, plastic tape edging, rather, which isn't great quality, but it's generally a little more durable, and not prone to warping. Subbed at night. Oh, Billy is already getting... okay, so it's already on hidden. I'm going to assume Prime did that. That's great. Billy is, in fact, sort of correct. MDF is fake wood. I wouldn't say it was shite. It is definitely good for structural stuff. It is more dimensionally stable than wood, so it doesn't warp, doesn't twist, doesn't generally absorb water as long as you have it well sealed, which is part of its advantage. Part of its disadvantage is it's extremely heavy, because this is basically sawdust and resin smashed together. Now, normally, these days, you don't generally use a veneer on both sides of MDF. And what I discovered when I was pulling the table apart to actually start working on it was that the skirting, the undersides, what would be edges out here on a piece, was actually solid oak. Unfortunately, it's curved and it's sectioned very small, so it's no good to me. Sasquatch says MDF has its place nowhere near water. You can actually use, if you properly seal the MDF, you can take it and you can actually submerge it, and it will be fine, as long as it's very, very well sealed. And yeah, it'll grow fuzz if it's not. Yeah, that stuff will molder in no time, especially in a humid environment. Brain Shatterer says he has to go do real life now. Oh, that sucks. Who wants to do that? Have a great stream. You have a good day, my friend. Thank you very much for popping in. Prime Knight says he's on it, mon capitaine. Merci, mon ami. You'll have to tell me how to say thank you in Swedish. I don't know that one. Let's see. Everybody's saying bye. Okay, yeah. So, normally, you wouldn't bother to put any veneer on the underside because it's a surface that you're not going to see, and wood veneer is frigging expensive. What really blew my mind about this is that the veneer on the underside of this table is actually made to look like dirty wood, like old, aged wood. Violence's Life says she's sleeping today. She's not feeling well. That's a shame. I hope you feel better soon. I do apologize if you guys can hear me scratching my arm. I didn't realize I had the mic quite that low. I'm going to see about raising it just a little bit without it popping too much into shot. Let me see. Well, it's not too bad. Kind of hides my double chin if I lean down and move to the side, so that works. MDF will in fact swell up and crumble if it stays wet. The edge of his counters currently is warped, crumbly bits. Aside from simply replacing the counter whole and entire, go and find yourself either spray adhesive or some sort of spray varnish, tape around it, other than the area you intend to cover. Get some paper, wax paper will work, and make sure you have it well shielded, and hit it with a few coats of varnish. If nothing else, it will at least seal it up. Spray varnish is your best choice. Try to angle it different angles so that you get the sealant effect in there. It's going to look like crap, but it won't fall any further apart, at least. Make sure you get underneath. Like if this is at the edge of a cupboard or a cabinet, maybe try and get inside. The best thing to do actually is look inside. If it's bare MDF inside, you're wasting your time because it wasn't sealed properly. Let's see. Billy, have you ever tried yacht varnish on your wood? It's expensive, but the best in my opinion. Yacht varnish. Marine yacht varnish. I'm guessing it's... Having a quick look here. Oh, spar varnish. Boat varnish, yacht varnish. Yeah, generally that's going to have a few different chemicals in it. And let me see here. Yeah, this is the stuff that can actually flex. Not generally a concern with furniture. If it's something that you expect to be moving or racking a lot, like a chair that you intend to sit in and do a lot of the whole rocking back on the back legs, probably a good choice. But generally, you could probably get away without going for that if it's something that's going to be. Oh, okay. I accidentally hit hide on that, and it popped up anyway because Prime got to it before I did. Excellent. Billy blogs, he means on the organic material, natural composite of cellulose fibers that are strong in tension, embedded in a matrix of lignin that resists compression. And then he makes a dirty-minded comment. Oh, I see. Yeah. Generally, you don't want to varnish that part of the male anatomy. Ends badly. Excuse me. Let's see. Prime Knight says when he worked in sanitation, he had to burn a shed as it was covered in mold as the old man had built with untreated wood. Yeah. I hope you were careful to wear some sort of breathing protection while you were burning it. If you burned it in situ, basically as you found it, without knocking it down or anything, probably okay, but yeah, you want to be careful of prevailing winds, and yeah. Primed is in fact doing a very good job. I'm very, very glad that I gave him a wrench. By the way, if there's anybody else who wants a wrench who will absolutely misuse it, let me know. Yes, do not varnish the male anatomy, Patriot. That is a very bad choice. And especially if you want to maintain a good tip, don't varnish it. Let's see. Okay, knockdown and controlled burn with masks. Yeah, which, best choice. Hopefully you took any antiques that happen to be in the shed out first, especially tools. I'm always disturbed by learning that someone found a load of old tools and just went, garbage. If I recall correctly, the vulgar misuse of power. Oh yeah, that guy gets a wrench. There we are. Congratulations, student. You said the magic words. Vulgar misuse of power. Billy, as far as I know, tips on making an undefeatable conker. If you mean something to conk someone on the head, I'd recommend hickory. If you mean conker, avoid Viagra. Let's see. Yes, student, you do in fact have a wrench. Mold killer as it has started growing on his garden tools and more. Yeah, nasty. Caucasian Sasquatch comes in with a little bit of wisdom. Live each day as if you won't see the next sunrise. Yes. Billy says he doesn't see any sex bots. They're behind you, Billy. Anything with lead in. Yeah. The thing is, Billy, that sometimes because I talk to people from all over the world, the slang can be slightly different, and you can give someone a conk on the head with a conker. A type of shell can be a conker. Yeah. That's, oh, okay. I will throw Patriot a mod as well. And yeah, guys, this isn't any sort of a commitment I'm expecting from you guys. It's just if you happen to see someone's comments getting hidden, or if you see the pestering bots, thoughtbots delenda est. Let's see. And yeah, Billy, I have heard of conkers, the traditional game in the UK. Seeds of horse chestnut tree. Is it similar to marbles? Let me just check my... Excuse me. Excuse me again. I'm just doing a quick search to find the game here. If I recall correctly, it's somewhat similar to bocce ball, but I may have that very wrong. And of course, it's not showing me the game, it's just showing me chestnuts. Yes, student, thoughtbots delenda est. Or if you're feeling particularly German at the time, thoughtbots raus. And of course, now I'm getting pictures of a squirrel. Gee, I can't imagine why. Yeah. You see what I'm talking about the confusion? Okay. How to conquer playing conkers. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's go to all. I was trying images because I wanted to see just the layout of the game would have given me an idea. Similar game. There's a similar game in Puerto Rico called gallitos, meaning small roosters, or cocks, as in cockfighting. Don't get excited. The opponents face each other, and the defending gallito is laid in the center of a circle drawn in the dirt. Not until the attacking player misses will the defending player take a turn. Okay, so it is essentially a smack game. Aim and things like that. 10 subs. Who's got 10 subs? Prime Knight has 10 subs? Cool. Awesome, man. I'm not asking anyone to be omnipresent, Billy. I just want people to be on. I will give you a bit of a warning, though, Billy, because your comments tend to be the ones that get hidden the most. Second, think the language. Just in case. I don't know that YouTube would give me a hard time, but just in case. Let's see. Student of history, if you're feeling German, you just get conversations about a final solution for the thoughtbot question. Sask says he's always around. Fine, you have one too. And I might as well give them out all the way around. So, Violence, you've got one too now. Is there anyone in here who doesn't have a wrench now? Yeah, I'd have to... Okay, Billy is explaining conkers for me. You put the conker on the end of a piece of string and try to smash your opponent's conker on a string. Okay, and you're trying to break the other guy's conker. Is that it? Oh, knuckle coin. Yeah, we used to play knuckles when I was a kid. Place knuckles on table. Flick coin along the table hard. Yeah, we did something similar. We just did the whole knuckles thing. Ow. Didn't really need that elbow anyway. We also used to play something similar to knuckle coin, but what we'd do, we'd take, you know, the old pin buttons. We'd take one of those, lay them down face down, and basically on the old desks, we'd give it a smack to see how close you could get it to the edge. And the idea being that I'm not seeing a lot of non-wrenches anymore. That's awesome. Lots of blue text. I like it. But the idea then would be basically that you would tap the You're Quite Welcome Violence. You tap the edge of the button. I'll get it, I swear. But you tap the edge of the button hard enough to get it to slide across the desk top without falling off. And each tap would be a point, and you wanted to have as few points as possible. And what you would do would be get it across the table, and then once it's over that edge, you get your finger on the edge and flick it as hard as you could into the air, and if you could catch it out of the air, it would wipe out your points. If you dropped it, then you get whatever points were on the table. Let's see. Hands out like we were praying and took turns slapping the backs of each other's hands. I think that's probably similar to how we played Knuckles. Damn, that actually... Oh, little wonder that hurt. I had a splinter in there the other day. Let's see. Prime Knight says we arm wrestle a lot as well. We're banned when a guy started throwing fists after... Ooh, yeah, that's just a poor sport. And I would think arm wrestling would be a great way to get some isolating exercise for those muscles that you need for Buhurt. Didn't quite get the art of roll properly the first try. Well, let's see. Coming up to about 10 minutes left. Anyway, guys, this has been my 300th video, and I'm really glad to have all of you here. If there's any random weirdness you want to ask about or something you want me to check out real quick, let me know. Oh, Prime Knight says that was when he was in school. Yeah, see, my feeling about stuff like that is when you're in school, that's when you... Violence says she likes to arm wrestle. And I've met actually quite a few women who like to arm wrestle, which is entertaining occasionally. But when you're in school and someone is that bad of a sport, is that poor sport or poor loser, what I would do, I really, really have massive OCD about that boom being in the shot. But what I would do in that situation is generally, and there is a technique to it, Patriot, for arm wrestling. There's some physics and biomechanics involved that actually make it a little easier to win if you know them. I can imagine he wasn't too well liked, Primed. When I was in school, if someone did something like that, where they start throwing fists, and I'm going to assume that he threw the fists at the guy he lost to, it was generally not unusual for the guy who was getting fists thrown at him to start throwing them back and sort it out. And generally, I happen to think that boys should be allowed to sort out their interpersonal issues that way. Boys, not men. Now, men may very well choose to do it as well, but when you're boys, it's a little less likely that you're going to do each other any serious harm, and you need to remember that when you're a kid, it instills an understanding of the value and dangers inherent in violence, and it should, ideally, make you less likely to use it, but also more comfortable with using it. Let me see here. Billy says, it was a vicious war of attrition. If the other player dodges your slap, there were punishment slaps. It was your turn to put your hands out and try to dodge it. Yeah, that's essentially exactly the same thing as knuckles. You put one hand to each other's, and if you twitch and the other guy kind of pulls away, you get a punishment knock, basically. Sasquatch says, this is unbelievably boring. I'm clipping 11 audiobook to quotes of one individual. Oh, yeah, you're clipping quotes from, Lazarus Long. Yeah, that's, let me think. Lazarus Long was Stranger in a Strange Land and Have Spacesuit Will Travel, if I recall correctly. Christopher says he's rinsed, but somewhat conscious. That's good. Yeah, I know it's Heinlein. I was trying to remember the the character name. Also, congratulations, Christopher. You also now have a wrench, just like pretty much everybody else in here. Let's see. Billy says, to Patriot, with no violence in your life growing up, you end up soft. Soft people get others killed. Yes. Soft and or reckless. Reckless people can get other people killed pretty badly as well. Let's see here. Okay, so since I'm just sitting here anyway, let me see. There we are. Okay, I didn't want that to play. There it is. Okay. Like Oprah, yeah, you get a wrench, you get a wrench, you get a wrench, everybody gets a wrench. Yeah, no, I excuse me. I really appreciate you guys coming here all the time. I'm hopeful that now that I've hit that 300 mark, YouTube might start promoting me just a little bit more. Plus, with one of the tips that Caucasian Sasquatch gave me the other day, I've started throwing essentially random shorts together and throwing out there, and I know that some of my shorts have gotten some serious view numbers already. So I'm hopeful to have... Oh, Promethean. I forgot about you, my friend. I am sorry. Time Enough for Love. Okay, yep. I remember that one as well. Let's see. I'll do a little bit of shilling for myself once I'm gone through a couple more things here. Wrench Squad Assemble. Power Wrenchers. It's not terrible, I suppose. Let's see. Violence says she was in karate. It is good for you. It is very much good for you. It's good for your mentality as much as it is for your body. And she also points out that she was a grappler. That's actually the reason that I left Kenpo, because they changed the tournament rules just before I was getting my orange belt. So at this point, I think I was in it for about 2 years and had gone to a couple of tournaments, had a lot of spar and spar matches, and had settled into the idea that, yeah, I'm not a striker. If I can get in close and get an elbow into you or get a knee up, sure. But generally, I'm short and stocky. It's far easier for me to catch a kick with some soft part of my anatomy and then wrap you up in a joint lock. And the third tournament I went to, the rules had been changed. So the gloves that you had that you could open and grapple with, those were now ruled illegal. They still let me wear them. They just told me that I wasn't allowed to grapple. And grappling had been essentially removed. No leg sweeps, no grappling. Basically, they wanted you just to stand and bang. Which clearly was intended to be crowd-pleasing rather than actually technically sound. This was, if I recall correctly, about 10 years before the first UFC matches. If those events were switched and I had joined martial arts 10 years after the UFC had started, I would very much have been a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. The Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Don't trust to hope it has forsaken these lands. That would be... I believe that's Lord of the Rings. And I think it was Gandalf or possibly Legolas. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see here. Wrench Squad assemble. Karate. Sasquatch says he was in the same universe. Oh, the story Time Enough for Love was in the same universe as Stranger. Spacesuit, Methuselah's Children, and the Cat Who Walked Through Walls. Yeah, it's a little difficult to tell exactly where each one might interconnect with Heinlein. Generally, I don't even concern myself with it unless the same character pops up. Jubal Harshaw pops up in at least 2 that I remember. Christopher Everard says, thank you, I will never do live stream just after a nerd book convention anymore. It's just tiring beyond belief. Yeah, especially when you keep your guest on for, what was that, 3-4 hours we did? I don't necessarily mind, but oof, those are long hours sometimes. Promethean Healing asks the exact right question. He wanted a wrench so that he may see his enemies driven before him and hear the lamentations of their women. Yes. Shorts. Yes, I've started making shorts, Billy. I've made a few in the past, mostly stuff announcing things that I'm doing. But I've started going back and clipping out bits and pieces of different videos and throwing in. Patriot says shorts do good numbers because people click just to see what they are. I find myself doing that. One of the other things that I mentioned to Sasquatch is I've noticed it myself where... Billy, Kempo and Kendo. Kendo is the stick fighting you're thinking of. Kempo is a form of karate. Kenpo. Kenpo. And ironically enough, yeah, Kendo and Kenpo are almost identical in pronunciation. Something I pointed out to Sasquatch when I was talking to him. With the shorts, I've found myself, I'll hold my phone, and if I happen to come to a short that I'm interested in, usually it's something like Rick and Morty, I'll watch it, and I'm like, okay, that was pretty good, and I'll give it a flick. Now, the thing is, from the moment you give that flick to the moment you flick away, or turn off your device or whatever, you've given that short a view. Whether you intended to watch it or not, you've given that short a full-on view. Which I think explains why YouTube wants people to make shorts, because it does sort of make it seem like they're getting more views. Though it's an issue of numbers versus actual engagement. Billy points out shorts get the algorithm all hot and bothered. Promethean says wrestling judo would be badass for me. I'm very much built like a grappler. As a wise character once said, my people aren't much for the long distance run, but we're great sprinters. Let's see. Patriot, I should mention Arden was a guest on my show last week. Filled in as a co-host since I wasn't well. He was fantastic. Thank you very much. And I did actually mention that at the top of the stream, that I was grateful for you having me on. Billy says they ruin a lot of martial arts stupid rules for competition. The problem is that it isn't intended for competition. At least I don't think it was in the case of this particular rule change. I think it was really intended more for crowd pleasing. And if you want someone who's going to stand and bang long range kicks and extravagantly fast punches, things like that, then you're basically going to tell people that you no longer have an all-around martial arts style for self-defense. What you have is something that's very showy and only good for strikers. If I wanted something that was very showy and only good for strikers, I'd have done Muay Thai. Aomer. Yes, Aomer, in fact, was the one who said, do not hold to hope it has forsaken these lands. Played by the exceptional Carl Urban. Which just makes me want to see a Judge Dredd Aomer crossover. Let's see. Everyone wants to get into the Olympics. Sasquatch stalks everyone. Did I lose something? No? Okay. And I haven't even got a warning this time. That's amazing. Violence says she gets 3,000 views on her grilled chicken. Seriously? That's amazing. I'm sub to you. I don't know if I've ever seen a short of yours. Gimli, son of Gloin. Promethean Healing, tall and stocky. Linebacker is also a great martial art for that build. Yeah. If you're tall and heavy, you basically... Yeah, long-range striker is really your bailiwick. If you're tall and lanky, you want something like Taekwondo, where you're hard to get a hold of and very fast. Yeah, like Billy says, it's intended to make the sport more entertaining. Yeah, I do agree. Do I think Thai boxing was something No, I do not want to be punched in the head with someone else's elbow. That shit is no fun. I think if I were to get into a martial art at this point, I'd probably go into something more like jiu-jitsu, something very much submission or grappling based. Yeah, sport Kenpo versus real Kenpo, yeah. Patriot says he did a lot of karate and taekwondo when he was younger. It looked badass doing jumping, spinning kicks. Now I'm older, I can only use a few basic moves without getting hurt. What do I advise for small fat people? Gun fu. Yeah, you know, those really flashy taekwondo kicks and things. If the other guy doesn't know how to fight, you've probably got a shot of making at least one of those land. The thing is, if the other guy's either bit seasoned as a fighter, you're going to get the same reaction that the guy who tried it with me got. Oh, look, I have an ankle now. Yeah. Sasquatch is 6 foot. Fisticuffs first. If I get open hands on. Yeah. And see, I'm the sort, I don't like to throw punches, because when I throw a punch, I tend to throw it badly. Normally, I know I'm supposed to use these 2 knuckles, but I generally hit with the full fist, and I've probably broken bones in my hands a dozen times from throwing punches at people. I prefer open hands. I'd like to do some of that, the sticky hands, Wing Chun sort of stuff. Not because I think it's any more effective than, say, jiu-jitsu, but just to have the body mechanics knowledge, like anatomy and things like that. I prefer to use joint locks. I would far rather twist someone up in a pretzel and hold them on the ground until the cops show up than actually have to try and stand and bang with someone. Promethean Healing points out anyone who isn't built like a Giga Chad should probably carry a double stack every day, and then responds to himself, even if you are. Yeah, it's not called the Great Equalizer for nothing. Best I can do, big stick. Let's see. Violence is a 5 foot tall girl. She gets in close and hits pressure points. Don't like you. Christopher Everett says his instinct in a fight is grabbing them and slamming them to the ground. Yeah, judo. Judo is a handy thing. And Aikido, though Aikido is a little mystified. Violence, you fight like a girl. You're not supposed to bite. Okay, gang. I'm over time, so I'm going to throw a little bit of shilling your way, and then I'm going to get out of here. So, one last time, here is the thumbnail that I'm kind of proud of, to be honest, especially considering I had to go and repair that. I had accidentally put 22:10:22 initially, and about 3 minutes before the stream started, I had to go and edit that. Promethean Healing is asking me if I have the big stick with fully automatic assault clipazines. No, my sticks are all black powder. And Sasquatch says he loves throws of all description. One of my favorite things to watch, and I might as well put my face back on for a minute. One of my favorite things to watch was the Abu Dhabi Combat Club. It's all submission based, and it kind of harkens back to when UFC was boring, because guys would just be rolling around on the ground for a while. I never found that boring. I always found it fascinating how you could have guys just kind of making tiny little moves and tiny little counter moves. It's like, that's amazing. But when you get to the level of being a master or extremely accomplished in a sport like that, it's really, really fascinating to watch people doing that, because it's like watching physical chess. Prime Knight says, I'm showing off my thumbnails, ignoring his. Or he's ignoring his. I'm not sure which he means. Billy, even said somehow banning punches to the head was bad, but kicks to the head were good. Not sure how that makes sense in terms of brain damage. If you get into a martial art and you're concerned about brain damage, you're in the wrong sport. Anyway, folks, so I'm coming to the end here, so I will throw up this. This is a movie that I will be doing a review for tomorrow. I've technically got it done. I just realized they misspelled Powers Booth's name here. There's supposed to be an E right here, right on the end of this name. This is a movie from about 10 years ago. It's an hour and 29 minutes. I think it was extremely well done. Sasquatch, thank you very much for throwing your link in. Anybody who wants to throw in a link to her channel or what have you, you go right ahead. No porn, please. And yeah, that'll do for a rule. No porn. But yeah, I've done a review for this movie. It'll be released tomorrow. I really enjoyed this movie. I've also, because one of, or a couple of Edgar Allan Poe's poems feature prominently in it, I've taken one of those and done a read for it for Wednesday. That's Annabelle Lee. Because the other Edgar Allan Poe poem that was featured was The Raven. And, well, everybody's done that. No, student, you may not shill your OnlyFans. Let me see. If you haven't seen it, this is actually a really good movie. I did do my best to avoid doing any sort of spoilers. But, I mean, anything that's got Gary Oldman dressed as an Elvis impersonator, that right off the hop should get you interested. Promethean Healing's posting up his D-Live channel. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys about a minute or so to get anything you want to post in there. Sasquatch says his OnlyFans is him walking barefoot on food. Okay, that's more than I needed to know about you, to be honest. No, I don't have a lot of... oh no, Billy is saying that he thought Patriot had a lot of videos of naked men wrestling. That's up to him. I just don't want him talking about them in my chat. So yeah, also that, I might as well bring that back for just a second. That service, Tubi, if you have access to it, it's free. They show, if you're watching it through a Roku, they do show a lot more ads on the Roku than they do on just your desktop or your other apps. But it's free, and there are some really good movies on there. If you are an 80s animation guy, there's a few things there for you. There's an entire section of anime. Not my style, not my thing, but it's got some good stuff. Cowboy Bebop is there, and that was interesting enough. I think I even saw Sword Art Online there at one point. Like Netflix used to be, they have things that cycle in and out, so... Christopher Everard posted his Kickstarter. Awesome. Prime Knight points out that if you're in Europe, you can use a VPN for Tubi. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's probably something comparable to Tubi in Europe. Though I don't know if it would have necessarily the same... Oh, there's another really good movie, actually, right there. There. This one. Assassins, with Banderas and Stallone. Not a great movie, to be fair, but good. But yeah, there's some really good stuff on Tubi. So, folks, I very much appreciate you all being here for my 300th video. 301 will be tomorrow's Monday movie review. 302 will possibly be a live stream of me talking about some issues facing Newfoundland. Promethean Healing says he's seen Assassins. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's popcorn, for sure. It's not something that'll make you have a deep think. Guns, Girls, and Gambling, I would say the writing is better in Guns, Girls, and Gambling than it is in Assassins, but the production value is a little bit lower. That said, I really thought they did a great job. In any case, folks, if there's no other questions, I will bid you all adieu, and merci for being here. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you continue to have good days, and rise